Hey, Bob.
Hey.
Earlier this week, you talked about the environment at Camden Yards and how fun it was. What do you think it'll be like here at Yankee Stadium, and how do you plan to handle that sort of atmosphere?
Definitely going to take it all in because everyone talks about playoff baseball in New York, and so it's going to be pretty special just being out here and just hearing the crowd and just how much history is behind here and everything. So it's just going to take it all in and enjoy it.
Just a little bit to your left, Jalen.
Hey, Bobby. Speaking of history, the Royals and the Yankees had a really intense playoff rivalry in the late 1970s. Did you ever watch highlights of just those type of games that they played? And also, what does it mean to kind of write your own chapter starting tomorrow?
Yeah, just from hearing it from George Brett and just how that kind of little rivalry went around. And so, but yeah, anytime just trying to kind of create your own legacy with what we have, with the team we have here and how special it is.
Go to Bill in the second row on your right, Bobby.
What does Salvi Perez mean to this team, and what's the biggest advice he ever gave you regarding the postseason?
Yeah, he's the captain of our team, and so just him just saying it's the same game we've played since we were little, and so just know that just go out there and enjoy it, enjoy every step of this process and everything, and just really just take it all in because you never know whenever you get this opportunity. Guys go through their career and they never really make it to the playoffs, never really get to experience this. So really just take it all in, enjoy every moment.
Go to the third row.
The Yankees now with the Orioles and the Astros out are kind of considered the huge favorite in the American League. Do you guys look at yourselves as underdogs coming into this series, and how do you kind of approach that?
Yeah, we approach it as any other series. It's just we're coming in here, playing our game, going to worry about one day at a time, focus one step at a time, and not really focus on any outside noise. And I know that, yeah, we could be the underdogs or whatever, but we have confidence in ourselves that we just can kind of go out there and just do our thing.
Go to Ron in the first row.
All during the year, being on sort of an unheralded team, and a lot of attention is on the Judges and Otanes and the Dodgers and the Yankees. Does that give you guys just any bit of an edge, feeling like overlooked?
Not really. We know who we are. We're Kansas City Royals. We do our thing, and so we don't really we can't control any of that stuff, and so we just really control what we can and go about our own business.
And since you got to Kansas City, what have you learned about the city and the area that you didn't know before you lived there?
Yeah, just how much they love sports, how much they love their teams, and just how much they love their guys, and so it's just special. It's a special city. It's a special town, and so I just love being there.
Go to the end of the first row on your right, Bobby.
Hi, Bobby. Peter Splendorio with New York Daily News. Your name has sort of been linked all year to Aaron Judge's with the MVP race and everything. Just what do you think about him as a player, and how special is it, I guess, to kind of compete against him on this stage?
Yeah, it's awesome being able to kind of compete with him, and like you said, on this stage, and just seeing how this year he's had. It's been unbelievable, and just both how he is just on and off the field. I believe he plays the game the right way. He plays it hard, and so it's just it's really cool to see a guy like that in a city like this do what he did this year and in the years past.
Go to Melanie in the third row on your left, Bobby.
Right here. What has impressed you the most about Michael Wacha and just what he's been able to do on the mound all season?
Yeah, I think it's just the consistency he's had throughout this entire year, and from our whole pitching staff. It's been great to see what they've been doing, and just they're putting us in each and every game. They're giving us an opportunity to go out there and win, and so just when they do their thing, we got to just go out there and put some runs up on the board, knowing that they're going to do their thing.
Go to Jack, 5 rows back on your right, Bobby.
Bobby, I know it's a small sample size, but you have faced Garrett Cole in your career. How would you describe the challenge of going up against a pitcher who has the weapons that he has?
Yeah, this is the fun part of the game, being able to kind of go up against a guy like him and being able to kind of compete. And so this is what you kind of dream of growing up. You want to face that guy, you want to face the ace, and so it's going to be a lot of fun.
And 1 row behind.
Bobby, I know you have a great relationship with Patrick Mahomes. Wondering these last few years, seeing him go through these postseason runs, if you've been jonesing for something like that, if you're excited to add to your legacy like he has, and if he's given you any sort of advice heading here into the postseason.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's been great. Like I've always said, we want to do what they did over across the street at Kauffman Stadium, bring the red they're doing to blue. And so, but yeah, he always just tells me just the work you put in before the game and everything, the preparation, that's the biggest thing. And just know that the work you do is good enough. You just got to go out there and be yourselves and not try to do too much, not try to do too little, and just really go out there, enjoy the game, and just know and just make sure you control what you can and make sure you're fully prepared.
Go to John in the second row.
Thanks, Bobby. You mentioned earlier about playing in New York during the postseason. Is there a game you watched on TV that happened here, or some great playoff moments that have really resonated with you that happened in the Bronx over the years?
Honestly, just really a lot of times you watching playoff baseball, a lot of games are in New York, and so just watching those games. Growing up, I was a Red Sox fan. My dad from Massachusetts, but Jeter was my guy, so always watching him do what he did out here, and so it's pretty special. Just saw the postseason moments that he had, and so it's just like when you kind of think of postseason baseball, you kind of think of it's going to be in New York somehow, some shape or fashion. So just really being able to come out here and kind of bringing the Royals out here and doing this is going to be a lot of fun.
Go to Gary, first row on your left, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby. Gary Phillips, Daily News. Going back to Judge, just what has stood out the most to you about his season?
Yeah, I think it's, like I said, about our pitching staff, the consistency of just how he's been doing it throughout the whole entire year and just stay consistent through it all, and just how he is both on and off the field, just a great person, and just being able to kind of do that for his team.
And then with Anthony Volpe, you guys played together when you were younger. What's your relationship like with him now, and how excited are you to be competing against him on this stage?
Yeah, we talk a little bit here and there, and just it was pretty cool kind of growing up and going through all that, like all the high school showcases, and then with Team USA stuff, we were able to kind of play up the middle together and win a gold medal, and so it's pretty special just to share those moments with him, and then just seeing what he's been doing has been pretty cool.
Stay there with Max.
Bobby, what did you learn about this Yankees team when you guys were here just a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, they're a great team, and we just got to play our game, and yeah, that's really all there is to it.
How much do you think your speed can play against this club and be a factor in this series?
Yeah, I think that's just kind of how we play as a team. The whole Kansas City Royals team is just where you have a lot of guys that with speed, and so we're just going to try to play aggressive, play our game, and yeah, leave it all out on the field.
Go to Annie in the second row.
Kind of along those lines, talking about the offense, you got the timely hitting in Baltimore, but what's going to be the key to getting the offense back kind of in a groove like you guys were earlier this season?
Yeah, it's just like I've been saying, preparing, make sure we're fully prepared, get better each and every day, starting with today. Try to do the little things right, and once we do those things, just put together great at-bats, keep the line moving, and then I think our offense will get going for sure.
Go to Rob in the third row on your far right.
Bobby, you had mentioned with the playoffs, you identified the Yankees as a playoff team you always thought of. But for you as a kid, what was your very first memory of the postseason?
Man, I can't really remember the first. I was always watching baseball, but I remember in 14 and 15 when the Royals were doing that, how special that was. And just I was a 14-year-old kid, and just being able to remember that is really cool, just to see just what that team did and kind of like the underdog story in ways. And then just seeing from my dad's experiences in 2001, he was in the playoffs with the Diamondbacks when they beat the Yankees. So it's just kind of hearing that and seeing his World Series ring was really cool. And so that's just motivation for me to kind of do what he did.
I'll stay in the same row, Bobby.
Zach Brazil, New York Post. What have you learned from watching Mahomes on the biggest stage?
Yeah, it's just whenever those big games come up, he kind of takes the next step up, and so it's just not trying to do too much, too little, but that's just how he is. He's a competitor. He wants to win, and so that's kind of how I try to approach things. I just want to win, just try to do everything I can, but really also control what I can, not try to do too much.
Then for you with the breakout season you've had, was there anything specific that kind of stood out to you about how you prepared for this season, or why you think you burst onto the scene like you have this year?
Yeah, I just think it's just now it's third year in the league. I think just each and every year I feel like I'm going to get better and better just with the more experience I have in the league. And so I just think it's just comes with experience, really, and just being able to be prepared, get into a good routine, know my body, and just be able to control what I can each and every night.
Do a couple more, Bill, and then Jalen.
Why do you think Salvador Perez is a Hall of Famer? What makes him so great?
Just you can look at the stats. You can look at just him, just all the stuff he does on the field for the team to win. And then he's going out there each and every day. He's playing. He's helping the team defensively, offensively each and every night. And so it's just he just does it the right way too. And it's just he's been doing it for so long, and he's just so consistent with it. And it's just I just think it's a given.
What's the number one thing that has impressed you about him that we don't know about?
It's just he's the same guy each and every day. He doesn't change who he is no matter what. He could go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts, 4 for 4 with 4 home runs. He's the same Salvador Perez each and every day. And it's just it's so special that he does that each day in and day out. And he did it. He was the same guy through 106 lost season, and he's the same guy through making it to the playoff season. So it's just seeing that consistency that he has each and every day, and just showing up to the field, first one to the field, last one to leave. It's just one of one.
And Jalen on your left.
Bobby, you guys have been away from home for quite a bit now. How significant is it to have your family members and everyone come on this journey with you? I know they were with you guys in Baltimore when you guys clinched.
Yeah, it's special just to be able to have fiance here, parents here, and just all the support from back home in Texas, back home in Kansas City. And so it's just really special to just kind of enjoy this with a lot more people than just myself.
Do two more. Peter on your right, Bobby.
You mentioned Jeter being your guy. Just have you thought at all what it's going to be like to take the same field he won a World Series on for a playoff game?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's probably the first time I hear that. Just pretty special. I'm always kind of watching his highlights, postseason highlights recently, actually, and just being able to kind of take the field that like he did is really, really special. Kind of gives me chills just kind of thinking about it.
What made him your guy?
Just the way he played the game, both on and off the field, just how he was. He was my guy, and then Pedroia was my guy. So Jeter and Pedroia were my two guys. That's why I wore 17 in high school and everything. And so I got those two jerseys hanging up on my wall still back at in my room in my parents' house. And so it's just, those are just how they played the game hard, and just how they just always rise up to the occasion when needed.
15 plus 2, right? Gives you 17.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Good math.
Anything else we'll finish up with Annie.
Just real quickly, you said you were watching Jeter's postseason highlights recently. Like, how recently? Just on YouTube?
Yeah, just kind of seeing it. It was actually last night, just looking at it, or on the train ride and stuff, just being able to see it, just because of just how the stadium is, how the fans are. Just wanted to kind of just take it all in perspective, and then really going out there today and work out, and then tomorrow just taking it all in.
All right, Bobby, thanks so much. Great to see
Thank
you. Michael Wacha should be up in a few minutes. We'll start with Jalen on your left, Michael.
Hey, Michael, what has been maybe the differences in preparation, knowing that you were preparing to start Game 3 against the Orioles to now preparing for the Yankees in Game 1?
Yeah, as soon as we clinched, I would just say the focus kind of all went into the Yankees, and just, started my prep work on them to face them tomorrow night.
We'll go to Ron up front.
Why do you think over the years you've had such success against Aaron Judge?
I don't know. It's he's a guy that you definitely game plan for, and that you have to make really quality pitches to a guy like that. And I don't know if you up the focus against him or not, because I try to keep the same focus for everybody. But maybe just a little bit more aware of, hey, this is where I can miss, and different things like that. But yeah, you just have to make really quality pitches against a guy like that.
After at bats against him, when he doesn't succeed against you, do you go woo, or yep, it worked?
I don't know if I really have those thoughts. It's kind of all right. Who's coming up next type of deal. Yeah, just he's definitely a guy that you try to keep quiet in the lineup.
Go to Eric and then Zach.
As a pitcher, what impresses you most when you've watched Garrett Cole over the years?
Yeah, no, he's an absolute stud. I think just very consistent, year in and year out. He's throwing up really good numbers, a lot of punch outs, low ERAs, and throwing up a lot of innings as well. He's healthy a lot of years, and that's something that I admire as a starting pitcher as well. That's what you try to be as a starting pitcher, is consistent, and you want to give the team something that they can count on going out there. And he's been a staple of that over the past 10, 12 years now.
Go to Zach in the third row, Michael.
What's impressed you the most about playing with Bobby Witt? Is there one thing that just really stands out, for a young guy at his age to be playing the way he has?
Bobby, he's an unbelievable player. Played against him over the past couple years, and then getting to join up with him, getting to see it firsthand for a full 162 has been something really special. That's for sure. I love the way he just how he plays the game. You know, he's full throttle, running on and off the field. He's hard 90s down to first. I've never seen anybody square up that many balls. A lot of hard contact. Even his outs are loud. And you know, he's an unbelievable guy, unbelievable player, and you know, looking forward to seeing him in this next series as well. He was, you know, seemed unfazed in his first postseason games there in Baltimore, and you know, just credit to him to the way he preps for each game and each series, and the way he prepares his mind as well is really impressive.
Go to the third row on your left, Melanie.
Michael, you're no stranger to playing in the postseason. How are you planning on using that experience in order to kind of prepare for your start tomorrow?
Yeah, you know, lucky for me, yeah, I've had some postseason experience, and I think each time you're in the postseason, you know, just gets a little bit more and more comfortable kind of on what to expect whenever you're out there and how to handle certain situations. So definitely going to draw on past experience, you know, in this postseason as well. And so, you know, lucky to have that experience in the past, and hopefully use that to my advantage.
Yeah, Jalen in the second row.
Michael, what was your thoughts watching Cole Reagans and Seth Lugo do what they did, match role pitching performances against the Orioles, and did it inspire you to kind of follow in their footsteps going into tomorrow?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, those guys took the ball in that series and did exactly what they've been doing all year. You know, it's they go out there and compete, they throw strikes and attack hitters, and keep guys off balance, and have a lot of success doing that. And that was no different in that series there. And similar to what we've been doing all year, we try to feed off of each other and, you know, keep that starting rotation just rolling and keep building off of each start and things like that. But no, I was very impressed with the way they went about it last series.
Second row on your right, Bill.
What is it like to throw to Salvi Perez, and how much has he helped your season this year?
Yeah, that was one of the most things I was looking forward to whenever I signed here, was getting to throw to Sal, and you know, it's been great getting to build that relationship with him out there on the field has been incredible. He's got a great mind behind the plate. He's a big target to throw to. He's controls the run game behind the plate. He's got an absolute cannon back there, and you know, we're lucky here. We got two really good catchers here with Sal and with Freddie. But yeah, speaking about Sal, it's been a lot of fun to work with him, bounce different ideas off of him, and you know, he's got a lot of experience as well, and so he's seen a lot of these hitters, seen a lot of baseball games, and has a really good feel for the game. And so getting to work with him this year has really helped me a lot as well, just taking my game to another level, I feel like.
Go to John.
Thanks, Michael. Good to see you. I know that the changeup's been so important for you throughout your career. I wonder, as a pitcher changes and goes through different phases of your career, how have you adapted that changeup, whether it's the grip or the mechanics that have helped it remain the pitch that it is right now?
Yeah, no, it's definitely an important pitch for me in my repertoire. But you know, as far as the grip and mechanics of it, I would say it's pretty similar grip that I've used kind of my entire career. I would say things that have changed with it, you know, different counts that I throw it in, finding what hitters and kind of locations on where to throw it has kind of evolved over the years, I would say. But yeah, it's definitely one of my go-to pitches for sure, and is, you know, definitely something that I can use to keep guys off balance, I would say. Yeah.
Got Ron up front.
As someone who's been in several organizations, is there anything that stands out to you the way the Royals handle pitchers?
How they handle pitchers?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything it's too different from past organizations that I've played on. I can't speak on the staff that we have here is unbelievable. Getting to work with Sweeney and a lot of the guys behind the scenes with different pitch designs. I guess over the course of this year, just working on different pitches and kind of adding to my repertoire, I guess you could say. But they've done an unbelievable job with that, and they get us everything that we need as far as scouting reports, getting us ready, game plan wise, mindset going into starts. Everything that we ask for, they come through and get us more than what we actually need. So it's everything's readily available, and it's a great staff that I'm lucky enough to be a part of.
And how for you, since you arrived in baseball, has pitching changed where you got here, there was a pitching coach who gave you ideas, and now there's, like you say, all these behind-the-scenes people with advice and ideas and data?
Yeah, that's definitely changed. I think the technology part of the game has definitely increased from the time that I broke into the MLB. But I think it's all really helpful. I think you learn as a player how much you need, because I know that it can be, I guess, overuse, or I don't know the word, but can be overwhelming, I guess, for some players whenever they're just getting into it. But over the years, just gradually adding a little bit at a time, it's kind of what I've done, and I feel like it's been real helpful. I mean, every bullpen that I throw now, it's got the TrackMan, and we've got numbers, and especially whenever you're working on a pitch and trying to get it to do a certain thing, you have that instant feedback coming right there to you that wasn't there whenever I just came up in 2013. So it's kind of crazy to think about.
Do you have a few last ones? Max, on your left.
Michael, I know you haven't faced Juan Soto too much in your career, but what makes him such a tough out?
Yeah, I haven't faced him too much. I think last time was whenever he was still with the Nationals, but I was able to play with him last year in San Diego, so got to see him for a full year as well there. And no, he's just an unbelievable talent. He swings at strikes, lays off of balls out of the zone, and whenever he does swing, he makes a really good contact with the ball and hits the ball hard and finds a lot of holes. And he hits for average, hits for power, drives guys in. He's an unbelievable talent. Like I said, he's somebody that you got a game plan for sure.
Okay.
Can I do one more?
Yeah.
And beyond Soto and Judge, what is it that makes the rest of this Yankees lineup challenging as you game plan to face them?
Yeah, no, it's a deep lineup. Similar to Soto, a lot of these guys that they swing at strikes, they lay off the balls, and so you got to make quality pitches in the zone to get them out. And it's deep. They battle, they foul off pitches, and get deep into counts, and so you got a game plan for that, and try to work around those deep counts and try to get early quick outs to get deep into the game. But no, it's a challenging lineup, but looking forward to the opportunity.
One more behind you.
Michael, it's been a while since the Royals and Yankees have played in a postseason series. The last time was in the early 1980s. And have you seen highlights of just those two teams playing against each other? And what does it mean to write the next chapter in that story?
Yeah, I wasn't born then, but definitely have seen some highlights over the past couple days once we knew the matchup, and it's great. It's great for the fans. It's to bring back that those games and those memories, and looking forward to like I said, looking forward to this opportunity that we've got here in New York. Hopefully we can go out there and compete the way we've been competing, and make the Kansas City fans proud.
Do two last ones, Melanie and then Jack.
Michael, what do you remember from your first ever postseason, and how does the lead up to tomorrow kind of compare to that?
Yeah, it was my rookie year in 2013, and I had a handful of starts underneath my belt, and my first postseason start was a elimination game on the road in Pittsburgh, and so it was definitely some nerves, but I was lucky enough to have a lot of veterans on that team that I was able to bounce questions off of, kind of what to expect out there type of deal. And, that gave me kind of a peace of mind going out there. And so still falling back on those words of wisdom from those guys, taking it into this start tomorrow, is something I'll be doing for sure.
I'll finish up with Jack, far back on your right, Michael.
Michael, you talked about the Yankee lineup a couple of questions ago, but Soto and Judge are obviously the minefield in that lineup. And even with the numbers that you've accumulated against Judge, as a savvy veteran pitcher, how do you pattern your approach tomorrow to make sure those two guys don't beat you?
I don't know if I want to go too deep into that question there. But those two in that lineup, I mean, their numbers speak for themselves. They're one of the best 1-2 combo in the league there. So, but that doesn't mean that the rest of those 7 guys aren't players there as well. So, like I was saying, it's a deep lineup that you got to be on your game the whole time you're out there. You absolutely do. You can't take a pitch off against this team, and so just excited to get out there tomorrow and get this series rolling.
All right, Michael, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just wondering about Bobby and everything that's put on his shoulders all year, from starting with the contract and being the star MVP candidate throughout the year. How have you seen him handle those big moments?
Well, I mean, I haven't seen him change one bit. I think everything that's put on his shoulders is a positive thing and well deserved. So I think at the end of the day, he's a really grounded person, and I think he understands that attention's going to come his way, and it's okay to be positive, to understand that it's okay to accept compliments, and it's okay to know that he doesn't have all the answers either. He's gonna continue to grow. He doesn't ever proclaim anything like he's got it figured out. He's still growing, he's still learning, and he's still trying to be the best teammate he can be.
Any questions for Matt? We'll go to John in the second row on your right.
Thanks, Matt. When you think about Vinny coming back in this series, how did your expectations relate to what he was able to do in a lot of ways, just being back in the lineup?
Well, I mean, my expectations went from 0 to 100 in a hurry, really. And it was last weekend in D.C. where I was able to see him hit for the first time in the cage and just see that he was not guarding it. He was not wincing. He wasn't trying to just fight his way through it. I'm sure he doesn't feel normal, but to be able to see him cut it loose like that was really encouraging to me and really pretty cool for him, and I know he just provided a boost to the morale of the team to come back. I mean, you lose your 3-hole hitter, guy that's been that productive. That's a big blow. And I mean, these guys understand it's great somebody else got opportunity, but they want to win, and they think that's the best chance for us.
Go to Bruce in the second row.
Hey, Matt, how would you describe this opportunity for you and your ball club going up against the team that had the best record in the American League and with their long-standing tradition?
Well, thankfully, we're not playing against their tradition, right? We're playing against the team that we're facing off against this week. And that's going to be plenty of a challenge, right? We understand how talented they are, but nobody gets to this point in the offseason or the postseason without being talented and being a good team. So we take it as a challenge. We understand that most people are going to think that they are the favorites, but that doesn't matter when you get out on the field, right? It doesn't matter what the fans think or the media says or whatever. We have to compete one pitch at a time, one inning at a time, one game at a time, and just do the best we can. And that's the mindset that our guys have gone with the whole year.
Got Ron up front, Matt.
Coming off the season you had last year, when you got to spring training, was there any particular approach you took with the guys to build self-belief, or did that progression happen naturally?
Well, I can tell you it started in the off season. We made a dedicated focus to have a better mentality, a more competitive mentality, and understanding that what happened last year was not going to dictate one thing about this year unless we let it. And then once we signed the free agents we signed, they were crystal clear with me that they had no interest in talking one bit about last year because they were not part of that team and it had nothing to do with them. And I think that from day one of spring training was the thing that really stuck with me and inspired me the most, that this was going to be different. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I didn't know we'd be sitting here, but nobody knows they're going to be in the postseason, right? But the mentality and the belief that they had with themselves of we're going to win games, that was good enough for me.
For the returning guys during the offseason, were there any specific communications to get across that message to them?
The competitive part was huge. JJ was emphatic about that with players, with staff, with player development, because we're in an age of baseball where there's a lot to be said about training, whether that's pitch design or swing mechanics or biomechanics, all that stuff, which has its place and is vitally important, but that's not going to make one bit of difference when we're out there facing Garrett Cole tomorrow. It's who's going to compete better, who's going to be in the right mindset to go out there and get the job done, whether that's moving a runner, stealing a base, getting a curveball down below the zone, whatever it is. And those are the things that we tried to instill and embrace the best we could through the off season and spring training.
Thank you.
We'll go to Zach and then Peter, just to stay on the right side.
What's your favorite quality in Bobby?
His quality, is that what you said? His humility. Yeah. Because I think if you're humble and you understand that you don't have it all figured out, this game will do it to you. But he doesn't need to be humbled because he is a humble guy. He approaches it that way every day. That he's just one of the guys going out there to compete at the highest level he can.
Go to Peter on the right.
You mentioned Garrett Cole. Just what have you seen from him as his season's kind of rounded into form and getting into this point?
Well, we haven't seen him live. Following, I know he didn't pitch until June so we missed him both times we played him, but I've seen plenty of him over the years to know that he's a unicorn in this game. He's a closer that can do it for 9 innings. He locates, he's got plus pitches on every front. He can pitch to righties and lefties. He's super competitive. He seems to be built for the big stage and really embrace that. So he is the ultimate competitor. He's been one of the most elite pitchers in the game for a long time now, and it's a tremendous challenge to go up against him anytime you get the opportunity.
So kind of to that point, how do you approach facing him tomorrow?
You have to be disciplined, right? Because he can strike the ball with the best of them, and if you expand, you're going to have a tough time. But if you get him in the zone, you got a chance. You're going to have to understand that what he does, and you can't chase him around the zone because he's so good at executing his pitches. You're going to have to be disciplined on what you're looking for and hope it matches up.
The third row on your left, Matt, Melanie.
Reagan's left the first game of the wild card a bit early due to leg cramps, but he is set to start game 2. How is he feeling after a few days rest?
Completely fine. He was really okay that night or the next day. It's just one of those unfortunate things where those cramps, they don't let up, in the moment. He just had to get hydrated and get off of his legs for a little bit, but he's completely fine.
And Michael Wacha talked a little bit about how veterans helped him as a young rookie, during his first postseason. How have you seen him step up into that veteran role that helped him once to the other young players in the clubhouse?
I can't say enough good things about him as a teammate. I really can't. He is the most dialed-in pitcher I have ever seen when he's not pitching. He's into every pitch. He's high-fiving guys for keeping the double play in order, for breaking up a double play, for throwing to the right base. He's into every at-bat when his teammates are up there. He's looking for things with the other team when he's on the bench. He is the consummate professional. Now, when it comes to his own preparation and watching how he goes about it and planning, we have a lot of guys that are good and he's one of them. And I think our younger pitchers have followed that lead. And it's also the steadiness, the understanding that not every outing is going to be a gem, and to how do you bounce back from that? And then how do you handle the successes when people do start talking about you? And he checks every one of those boxes.
Go to Annie in the second row.
I think I've heard you talk about the Royals-Yankees rivalry from late 70s, early 80s. But what did you hear about that, or maybe what did you remember from the later years of that intense rivalry?
Well, that's the word I would have said, intense. They were the team, as a fan of the Yankees growing up, that you were like, oh, we're playing the Royals again. Like one of those things, because I don't know, as a kid, Kansas City was another planet away for me. That was out west, and they'd go out west, and they were tough games or whatever, that kind of mentality. But clearly knew who George Brett was and how good he was, and Willie Wilson and the guys that affected the games. Was always aware of Dennis Leonard because he's from the same town as my aunt and uncle lived in and all that. So just had a pretty good awareness of them from even a young age and how talented they were. But when you keep playing the same team year after year in the playoffs, you have no choice but to take note of them.
We got three more, starting with Gary.
You mentioned Yankees fandom. Just being a New Yorker, does it mean anything extra to you to be managing here in the postseason?
Not necessarily, no. I mean, I'm so focused on our guys. I was a Yankees fan a long time ago. That was another world ago in my baseball career. But to be able to be here with our guys, I'm super proud of them, and just that's where my focus is.
Go to Max and then John.
Matt, how do you make sure that Judge and Soto don't beat you in this series?
We got to execute. I mean, that's there's going to be opportunities, I'm sure, where we're going to pitch to them. We're going to have to pitch to them, but there's other times when we'll try not to let them beat us. But we don't have the answer. It's written in stone. We're going to have to execute. But I do like our guys and their stuff and their ability to execute. So I think it's got to be one or the other, right? You got to attack, or you got to put them on. Essentially, you can't try to be careful. That's not a philosophy we're going to take.
We'll go to John, and then we'll finish up with Ron.
Thanks. And Matt, I'm curious about Urseg and his arrival. In what way has he both directly and indirectly helped you? Directly because of what he does, and then indirectly because of the way that you can now utilize the guys ahead of him?
Yeah, great point. Well, he's been incredible, as you've seen. His stuff is remarkable. His efficiency is really impressive. He doesn't back down from anybody. He has that mindset of, I'm coming after you. You're going to have to beat me. And then to the second part of that, guys understand that, okay, we have a guy that can do that now. And we understand that we're asking a lot of him in that role, but we've asked a lot of young guys this year, or I don't know, young, inexperienced guys in high leverage. And we were saying all along, internally, that we thought that would benefit us down the road. Now, we didn't realize it would happen as quickly as it has, but the Sam Longs and Zerpas and Bubic coming back from injury, and prior to getting hurt, MacArthur, and the list goes on of Daniel Lynch, guys that have just stepped up and executed. And I think when roles take a while to define themselves, but when they do, they tend to work.
I'll finish up with Ron up front.
You mentioned before another life ago. Years ago in Bowling Green or with the Renegades or Albany, did you envision yourself one day running a big league team in a postseason stage?
No. I mean, I think, if anything, I would have envisioned myself playing, but that didn't happen. So, no, and I can truthfully tell you, like, every step of the way, wherever I've been, I've embraced that, and taken pleasure in wherever I've been and just enjoyed the moment. And I think that's what's allowed me to enjoy this as much as I have too, because it wasn't about getting to the next step. It was about doing the best I could at the step I was in, and understanding that you're nowhere without everybody that supports you. It's not you, it's the group that you're with. And I've been super fortunate to work with and play for and learn from some of the greatest people and some of the best baseball minds, in the game.
Which job tested you the most?
I can honestly tell you, I've been tested every step of the way, right? I mean, because you don't come into any job having it figured out. At least in my case, I certainly haven't. So I've learned tons in every job I've been in, whether that was my first job as a professional coach or getting this job, you know. And I think every day I'm learning something, right? Now whether I can manage to retain it all and keep getting better, that's another story. But I don't think I've ever had one job that hasn't challenged me.